Economic Fertility Challenge with our friends over at AgroLiquid. That's what we're talking about. Yes, this is a series of short episodes that we want to share with you because we're doing some cool stuff.
Welcome to XtremeAg's Cutting the Curve podcast, where real farmers share real insights and real results to help you improve your farming operation. And now, here's your host, Damian Mason.
Basically, three of our guys teamed up at different farms, at each of other farms, and did different challenges with the folks from AgroLiquid. The one we're talking about right now is irrigated corn with a goal of 300 bushels per acre and a budget of $40 for in-furrow planter applied fertility. I got Joe Leslie and Stephanie Zelinko with AgroLiquid, joined by Chad Henderson, Temple Rhodes, and Kevin Matthews from XtremeAg. This happened at your farm, Temple, so kind of tell us the setup.
So, this challenge plot kind of came up, last year. We talked about all these challenge plots, and, we thought that it would be neat if we carried them to everybody's farms. We did one down there at Johnny's that I was in, and I got beat out pretty bad. I'm hoping that we're not going to replicate what happened at Matt's farm last year. I think everybody beat Matt at his farm on corn last year. He come in last. So I'm really hoping that didn't happen with ours. But, we all take a different, there's certain things that Chad looks at that he really he's developed over the years, with putting on certain things that he feels like is better for his corn crop. Kevin feels the same way. I kind of feel the same way. I feel like I know my ground better than everybody else. But as we've proved with these challenge plots, maybe we don't know our ground quite as well as what we think that we know it. Because every one of these challenges, I think Johnny might be the only one that beat everybody on his own dirt. Isn't that right, Stephanie?
Yeah, so far, but we have a lot more data to come in.
Yeah. So, we kind of look at these things as it is a learning process, and maybe we can find some pieces and parts. Maybe we can cut back on some fertility of products that we don't really necessarily need. Maybe we need something a little bit different than what we actually thought that we needed. So that's kind of the idea of it. I thought, with me, I was like, well, these guys are screwed. Like, I'm going to take care of my own plot. I'm going to fix it. So I make sure that I don't lose on my own farm. But then Stephanie, she really threw the monkey wrench into it for all of us. Like, it just came and it just said treatment 1, treatment 2, treatment 3, and has nothing else on the totes. So I have no idea whose is whose. I still don't know. I won't know until I'm going to hand in all the data, and she'll let me know which one of the treatments was mine, because I have no clue. So it is really, and honestly, it's really well done the way that it's all set up. It was easy for us to deal with. She sent 3 different totes, all in-furrow mixes. It's pretty neat. And all of them have different blends, and everybody took a different stance.
All right, so Chad did Stephanie, you said you outlined basically, because you sat down at Commodity Classic and started plotting this out. One of our guys did you called it a more standard approach, and one of them changed things up a little bit. So kind of give us the overlay, or the overview of what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about this is you can see that some people have certain tendencies that they fall back on what they're comfortable with locally, whether they're at their own farm or somebody else's. So, Temple heavily focused on phosphorus. That's kind of the area of concern. We hear Temple talk about phosphorus all the time. Really no different approach here for his own farm as expected. Chad kept it relatively simple. He just did some phosphorus, potassium, did a standard micronutrient package, and went forward there to stay within that fertilizer budget. Kevin got a little bit more picky as he went through and kind of divided up those micronutrients. Instead of doing a single packet, looked at which ones were low and strictly focused on the ones that soil test said it needed.
Got it. All right, Joe, you're the guy that's out there in the region. You're the guy that's in Maryland where Temple farms. Have you actually gone and looked at this?
Yeah, well, I was at Temple's field day, and we looked at it there. To be honest with you, the programs are similar enough. I don't know if that's because of how all the AgroLiquid employees were trained to read soil samples and build programs. So I think the bigger differences will be seen when the combine hits. I'm a little disappointed. I thought Temple knew which one was ours. I was working with Temple, and I just I thought that was a shoe, and I thought we were going to win for sure, Temple. But that's awesome that you didn't know. Nothing. But
no, it's terrible. It's a terrible idea.
No, I think it's good. What's really going to be neat about these trials, we all took little tweaks and made little differences. It'll be interesting to see if that results in bushels, like the way Kevin's is broke out by different micronutrients, where I simply rely on our micro 500 pack. It's a standard for our area. I throw in every starter mix, and that's so, like Stephanie said, we all kind of lean on what we're used to. That's what I'm used to. So it'll be interesting if breaking out the nutrients a little separately will show a yield difference in the trial. But yeah, you're not going to see a lot of differences through the season just because of how they were similar enough programs. But I think the combine will tell the story.
I think the combine's going to tell a story, and I'm putting my money on Chad. Chad, you teamed up with Stephanie. Stephanie has a track record. She won. She beat Matt Miles on his own farm. She's a winner, and she teamed up with you. You're the Syndic guy. My wager's on you too.
Well, the problem is she took us, send it right out of it. We got a $40 budget. We all had to stay within that budget, and that's always fun. You start scratching your head. So me and Stephanie actually sit down back at Commodity Classic, and we took a few minutes. It was in between one of our recordings there, at the booth, and we kind of went through some of these and said, "What are you thinking?" That's what I'm thinking, and we put our heads together and got to stay within that $40. But I'm like Temple and like Joe there. It's hard to tell during the season. But what I really, really like about these challenges is it gets you away from the blinders that you have on your own farm. When somebody else can come to your farm and then they can change a few things, and you look at that program, you're like, well, why hadn't I been doing that? Man, I ain't really thought about that. So it really opens our eyes to things we may be lacking. And then we get to see the plant through the year, and then we get to harvest as well.
Even for the Syndic guy, and I think what you got to admit here is, if you're going to screw something up, you'd rather do it at Temple's than at your own place.
Oh,
I know that's how I would look at it.
100%. And then I'd rather blame it on him. Mine wouldn't applied correctly. He probably didn't get it out in time. It may be still sitting in the shed right now.
Well, you're doing the experiment.
If I had known where Chad's was, I probably would have not even put it in. I would have just been like, yeah, I'm putting Chad's in. It's just straight water. That's all it's going to be. Yeah.
But see, he would have done it to me, but since Stephanie was involved, he's like, oh, no, I got to take care of Stephanie.
Well, actually, not really, because Stephanie was with you, and Stephanie hadn't been with me on any challenge plot. So I've lost every one that I've been in. So honestly, I'm here to screw her over as well.
Great.
You got bullseye on your back, woman.
I'm in trouble.
All right, I'm going to go to Kevin. All right, this is going to sound, I'm throwing this out there. Yes, it's probably instigative, but I'm throwing it out there. I'm in Indiana. This field back here is not even that great behind my house. It'd do 240 bushel corn without problem. If I irrigated it, I'd hit 300. I don't need to even do these experiments, $40 or not. I don't think once you're throwing irrigation out there at Temple's place, I don't think it's going to be that hard of a deal. I don't think it's going to be that hard to do this. I think you're all going to hit 300 bushels, and if you don't, maybe you should have me take over.
Actually, we're probably not going to hit 300 bushel because we had a green snap there. So we're not going to hit 300 bushel. But it'll be interesting.
I'm being a little bit facetious. But the point is, once you throw irrigation into the mix, it makes it a hell of a lot easier to attain this. So I guess, is it really going to be the fertility, or is it really more a matter of something else?
It's probably going to be more of location in the field. But one thing you guys got to remember, we don't stand a chance on this thing. I mean, Stephanie, she's got them labeled. Nobody knows which and which. So nobody's going to know which one's mine, which one's Chad's, which one's
Kevin,
bottom line, Stephanie decides who wins.
It.
I win.
Stephanie wins. She's not only the house, but she deals the cards that are marked. These are marked cards.
She's blending it. Like, who knows if she even stayed in budget?
Right now you did test 1, 2, 3, but the thing is you don't know which one of them is Stephanie's. So obviously it's going to be the winner.
Exactly.
She's outsmarted us on this one, boys. She's got us. But one thing you was talking about there, Damian, a lot of people really assume that, hey, if I'm growing 220, 250 bushel, you give me irrigation, I can do 300. That ain't no problem. 300 ain't always as easy to get as everybody thinks it is it, Chad?
I was about to say that, that Damian saying that is spoken from a true person that just don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly somebody that don't know.
But, you know, a good
look at
example.
Stephanie. Look at Stephanie and Ryan on their own farm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just tough.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever hit 300. We've come close, but we've never hit 300 in Michigan.
Well, obviously, I was doing that to get the pot stirred, but there's a lot of acres that are not irrigated, right?
Yeah.
1% of my entire state probably is. You start going to the Illinois, the Iowa, and all that, and Ohio, it's not irrigated, so it becomes a natural assumption. Like, well, God, if I could have just. Yeah. We didn't get but an inch of rain from the end of July until sometime in September. What if I'd had irrigation? These
Oh Lord, if you'd had irrigation, USDA would have printed a 280 bushel average for the nationals.
Yeah, right. Could have brought corn prices down to 275.
It'd been $1.50, man, $1.50.
So what's the biggest thing that you see, Stephanie? You do this stuff all the time. You and Joe, you're the fertility experts. What are you seeing? What do you think the big takeaway is going to be here?
Well, I think the lesson behind all of this is how to manage budgets. This one was challenging. $40 isn't a lot for an In-Furrow program. And so we were just looking to see reality.
$40 is not a lot.
Is not a lot, and that's the reality that we're at right now. If we're not going to get the bushels, we have to cut back what our expenses are. And so a $40 budget for a lot of guys that are at 200 bushel corn is reality. And so that's what the market we're dealing with right now with low commodity prices is we don't have as many dollars to put into that fertility program if we want to stay in business for next year. So I think we will learn that we can manage our money. And come up with a program that we're still successful. Will we hit 300 bushel? Maybe not. But will we stay profitable? Probably, so we can be in this business again next year.
Yeah, that's the part I really enjoyed. I felt like it was really realistic. Sometimes we do these plots and it's the kitchen sink effect, push the bushels, and then it's this big price tag. And we do grower shows and they come in and they go, well, we're never going to spend that kind of money. Or we're not. I think growers can look at this and go, okay, I can do this on my farm. This makes sense. And I also would say Temple and I spent the most money. We got the $39.95 and we tried really hard to get the $39.99. We moving decimal points and anyway, but to me, it was a realistic trial. And I think growers can really take something from this and utilize it on their own operation.
Well, you talk about $40 budget. It does, it doesn't seem like a lot, but you keep in mind, this is an in-furrow treatment. And when you use things like this in-furrow, you got to keep in mind that the efficiency of products like these in-furrow, you could be getting 30 to 50% more efficiency, at least, out of an in-furrow application versus then a broadcast application. So you're getting a lot more out of $40 than what you really think.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely.
And this is where we've kind of had this resounding theme that this is where things are going to go. Putting it out there, more precision placement and more exactly what you need versus it's tight out there, right? So whether you're making 300 bushels or not, it's tight. So $40 might be the new budget. We're doing the Economic Fertility Challenge with AgroLiquid and XtremeAg. We're doing a whole bunch of the series of these recordings so that you can watch them and follow it right along, and also take some of these lessons and apply them to your farm. Go and check these out. Also, videos from the field days and videos that these guys are shooting in their farms. There's hundreds and hundreds of them, but even from this year, so you can use them to help yourself farm a little bit better. And remember, there's hundreds of episodes of XtremeAg's Cutting the Curve. So go check it out. If you want to learn more about XtremeAg or about AgroLiquid's products, where do they go, Ms. Stephanie?
Our website, agroliquid.com, has all the information they need.
Got it. Thanks for tuning in. Keep up with all the cool stuff. We got almost a dozen of these videos about the Economic Fertility Challenge. We're doing it on corn, we're doing it on soy, we're doing it on wheat, we're even doing it on cotton. That's right. So anyway, check it out. Till next time, thanks for being here. I'm Damian Mason with XtremeAg's Cutting the Curve.
That's a wrap for this episode of Cutting the Curve. Make sure to check out XtremeAg.farm for more great content to help you squeeze more profit out of your farming operation.